crazy week, and sometimes life gets a little out of balance, and that is okay. So today I am focusing on rebalancing. I made sure we got plenty of sleep finally last night, and even though I woke up a couple times and my 6-year-old wet his pajamas for the first time in like a year and needed help with that, and so I was up kind of a lot, but I just let it be okay. You know, I'm still resting. This happens. I mean, you know, tell me in the comments if you ever had any kind of like insomnia or extra potty breaks or anything during pregnancy. It happens, okay? Especially if you've got a lot on your mind. So last night was one of those nights. I'll be sure and drink my lullaby tea tonight. You can find that on herbalembrace.com. Totally safe for pregnancy. And really great for perimenopausal, menopausal women as well. Has some herbs that have increasing studies done on them, like actual recent scientific evidence that they help the hormonal causes of not sleeping, not falling asleep, not staying asleep, things like this. Anyway, I got distracted. So today's my rebalance day. So I spent a long time just letting my kids help each other get their breakfast and playing, sometimes fighting, but mostly just playing, kind of free playing this morning so that I could take my time, do my journaling, do some visualizations. My big thing that helps me so much, because I have a history of anxiety, depression, panic attacks, probably OCD, probably some other things. Not all diagnosed. But anyway, mental health can be a serious struggle for me. Perfectionism, stress, like all these things, right? So what has helped me so much for over a year now is I have this morning routine. Now, I'm not always perfect at it, and sometimes I'm doing it at like 3 p.m. and I still call it my morning routine, but it helps every time, no matter what time of day. 3 things. It's actually 4. It's 4 things, okay? I read scripture, I journal, even if it's like one sentence. Right now my theme is looking for miracles, so I write down any miracles. I'm trying to think of like a really goofy example that I still count as a miracle, and you know, something like I found the pants I was looking for, like you know, tiny things, okay? So the scripture is the journaling, and then I do Wim Hof breath work, which I have posted a link here before. If you look for questions about what was the question I asked? I think it was like, do you do breath work? What kind of breath work do you do, or whatever? I do have a link to that video, and I'll talk more about it in the future. And I do a cold shower. So those are my 4 things. And I'll talk more in depth about cold showers later. But suffice it to say, that is my 4 key things that if I do every day, no matter what time of day I do them, I feel fantastic. But I have been neglecting the exercise. So I've been trying to work out where that fits into my routine. So right now I'm doing it between the breath and the cold shower. Sometimes this goes great and my kids are doing all the things with me. Like they'll even get out a little piece of paper and like pretend they're journaling, or you know, if they're old enough, some of them actually can journal. Today we got out, we just used like giant beach towels on my parents' lawn. And I pulled up a pregnancy workout video and they kind of did it with me and giggled, and they stopped when they wanted to and it was fine. And other times they're screaming at me the whole time. And that is also okay. Tell me if that happens to you. I don't think I'm the only one. But mommy needs to do what mommy needs to do. And I do think it's important to create this boundary around managing your own health as a mother, because if you don't, no one's going to do it for you, especially not your kids or your husband. It is not their responsibility. So there's my 5-second TED talk. Anyway, so we did that today, and then I will go take my cold shower. Well, I did my breathing and I just had a pear and then came out to do the exercise, just so I have a little something in my system, but keep it really light. So especially when you're pregnant, I do not recommend exercising on a full stomach. You know, when you have a full stomach, you tend to have more reflux and discomfort, and you know, that's just all the worse when you're pregnant, so don't do that. Again, none of this is medical advice, but so I would love to hear from you guys. What are your favorite ways to exercise during pregnancy? Some of my favorites have been swimming. This is fantastic, especially if you can get yourself to a saltwater pool, not like the what's become traditional, conventional, like chlorine pools, because that could aggravate some issues as absorbing through your skin and as you're breathing in those fumes, shall we say. But even so, that form of exercise is so healthy. And definitely while you're pregnant, and if you're not a strong swimmer or you're just starting to exercise again, make sure you are going to a pool where there is a lifeguard or there is someone watching you, because if for some reason you got a leg cramp or overextended yourself, because your body's always changing, you don't want to get in a dangerous situation. But other than drowning, it's an extremely safe extremely safe form of exercise for pregnant women, because we have so much more support on those joints that are getting looser and looser. You know, you can take a break from your body weight for a minute, but you can have a fuller extension of movement, fuller range of movement. And especially doing like breaststroke or froggy swim, where you are, you know, your belly is down. That can be really, really good for positioning your baby at any stage of pregnancy, but especially third trimester. So, and then obviously great for cardio, and it's a very gentle resistance. So swimming is fabulous. Walking, fabulous. Jogging and running depends on if you were already doing that. You could start it up, but you just want to make sure that you are paying attention to yourself and you are not overdoing it, and you are working up gradually to things. Same with any other exercise you would do, weightlifting, cardio, walking, jogging, running. It can all be done safely, but you need to be aware of your own needs, your own body, what messages it is giving you. And of course, if there's some reason that your doctor says you shouldn't exercise, you should take that into consideration. But I have found that generally moving is better. No, always moving is better than not moving. So let me come back to that in a minute. So let's see, we've covered walking, running, jogging. Weight-bearing exercise is really important throughout a woman's life, anyone's life really, especially once, you know, I'm not talking about like 5-year-olds doing heavy weightlifting right now, but I'm talking to you guys. So important to get that weight-bearing exercise. I am a strong believer in, especially when you're starting out, but anytime, doing exercise slowly. At least part of the time, do a very slow version of your weightlifting. Or if you want to use exercise bands, that's another really safe way to do it. So let me tell you my personal experience with this. So when I was just out of college, I started my corporate job, and the building I worked in had a gym associated with it, so I got a membership, and I started going to Zumba for the first time. And I've always loved dancing. I have a little bit of training, but I had never done Zumba before, and so I was doing it. And it was this very like hardcore German lady. She was awesome. What was her name? It was something really awesome, but oh well. And one of the days she got these little weights out and was like, no, we're going to do the Zumba with the weights. And it was like really fast motions with these weights, which for most people is probably fine. But when you are adding weight to any kind of movement and you don't really have the movement sort of down in terms of how to do it safely for your body, and that can look different for everyone, because all of our bodies have different flexibilities and range of motions and formations, like it's going to look different. You can easily get an injury, all right? If you just start throwing weights around, you could get injured, and you can recover from those, but it can really throw you off, right? So I got injured just using these little Zumba weights to do Zumba, because I wanted to be hardcore. Like, I was an athlete in high school. I'm like, yeah, I want to get the best workout I can, so I'm throwing these weights around. I didn't know until like within the last couple of years that I had some kind of undiagnosed autoimmune condition where my connective tissue was very weak, and that explained so many things for me. And I've since been able to work on that, and it's so awesome. If you want to read a little more about that, I do have a blog post. It's called Celebrating 21 Weeks with Baby Number 4 on everydayinexperiment.com. And I'll post it below. But it talks a little bit about my history with, connective tissue instability. Anyway, so I got injured. And fast forward a few years, I start having just these mysterious problems of like, I wake up one morning and I can't turn my head. And it lasts for months. This is when I started going to chiropractors, getting massage, getting acupuncture, all these different things. And then I was in a car accident. I was T-boned at 60 miles an hour right behind my driver's seat. I had a non-contact concussion. Everything that already existed got worse. And this is when my healing journey really began in earnest. So what this led me to do eventually was I was seeing a physical therapist 3 times a week, and I was seeing a physical trainer 3 times a week. So I was working with this physical therapist at this amazing gym, and it happened to be like a hospital associated gym. There were tons of 55 plus, 65 plus, 75 plus people. And then there were firemen, like professional firemen. And then there were a few stay-at-home moms. And I'm being trained to do these physical therapy and physical training exercises as slowly as I possibly can with this equipment, so that it's very controlled, so that I have every body part at the right angle, so that I'm not going to strain my muscles in the wrong way. And it was incredible. That was my most incredible fit pregnancy, best recovery, best birth. This one will be better, but at the time that was my best. So that experience just really drove home the power of and the importance of, when you're doing resistance exercises, to do them carefully and slowly, and do not care what you look like to other people, right? I didn't need to impress the professional fireman. I had a hunky hubby at home, right? Like, I don't need to be hardcore like them. And even, there were other moms there that were, just amazing and doing really hardcore fitness stuff, and that's okay too. It was okay for me to be there with my little pregnant belly, because I did get pregnant as I was going through this process, and doing my slow exercises. And I got so many compliments from all the old people. Just like, oh, it's so amazing that you're exercising while you're pregnant. That baby's gonna be so healthy. And yeah, and that kid, he's like 1,000,000 miles an hour. He is so athletic. Anyways, so the other thing that was happening during that time was I started learning from an Alexander technique teacher. And this is, to keep a very long story short, this is a technique where you learn how to use your mind and your thoughts better, so that you can use your body better. Okay, so this was a very important way of not doing the whole ballet thing. I mean, this would be like a bad ballet teacher, right? Of like, sit up straight, this is here, this is here, tighten this, blah, 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 right? Like, you're holding yourself rigidly into this position. And for the first like 3 to 6 months after my car accident, I felt like that's what I had to do, just to not be in extreme pain 100% of the time, even with muscle relaxers and all this stuff, because I knew nothing about natural health at that point. Okay, so I was just like literally holding myself in place all day long. That's a Band-Aid, right? So that's not the way to actual healing. So we want to achieve an aligned posture, a posture where we have power in our body, where we have flexibility and free range of motion, but not by holding ourselves in tension, in rigidity, in that place. So this is what I learned with the Alexander technique. So as I was doing those slow weight-bearing exercises and even just stretching, I was always mindful of, what are my thoughts doing? What am I noticing in my body? Where am I holding a little extra tension, and where can I let it go? So exercise is not just about pushing yourself hard. It's not just about doing it for a certain number of minutes, and not just about how much you sweat, but that is very great. Sweating is awesome. Detoxing is awesome. Or especially if you can bundle it by exercising outside. So you're getting all those amazing, you know, electrons and fresh air and the sunshine. Anyway, it's not just about that. It's also about learning more about your body, listening to those feedback messages and responding to them. So this is something that I offer as part of any private coaching. I'm going to start adding in a few live exercises with you guys. Just to give you a little flavor of it. But it is something that I learned that we can do from a distance, because really I'm just teaching you how to use your mind to use your body better. And it's just about becoming more aware and then giving you some tools that you can use to release that tension, give yourself the freedom that you want, that you deserve, so that you can safely exercise whether you're pregnant or not. And these exercises have even been used during childbirth, right? We hold a lot of tension when we're under stress. We hold a lot of tension when we're in that birth phase, especially that active labor phase. So these are tools that you can use that I'd love to teach you. And if you are someone who currently has an injury or is prone to injury and you want one-on-one help, I can absolutely offer that to you. Please send me a direct message and we can talk more. Otherwise, tell me in the comments of this video, or you know, if you can see the question that I posted earlier, it's like in bright colors as well. Like, what was your favorite exercise while you were pregnant? Or what is it currently? And if you have any favorite videos or favorite services or anything that you want to post for healthy, safe pregnancy exercises, please go ahead and post it there. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.